the b6 move is still okay because white does not have a queen on e2, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So that means black can play bishop b7 and the rook can also get free. It's not like a big problem.
Can you repeat that one more time? What you just said? Repeat that one more time.
So I was saying that whenever black plays b6,
Mm-hmm.
it's better to make sure that the queens are already exchanged. Because
Mm-hmm.
if the queens are exchanged, then the a6 pawn is not a target anymore. It will be like black can play bishop b7 and the rook gets free to c8 or d8 wherever necessary.
Otherwise, the
If,
a6 pawn would be targeted because of queen e2 stuff.
yeah, because the queen will be on e2, yeah, so it won't be that easy to move the rook.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so here b6 looks fine. Okay, pieces are developed. And okay, black played a prophylactic move, I would say, bishop e7. So what do you think? Was this necessary to play bishop e7 in this situation? Or we could have just castled here.
Does black really need to castle?
Not really. I mean,
I mean,
let's
if you
try.
play king e7, then you have to worry about the bishop, getting trapped or something like that, obviously, like knight
Yeah.
a4 and stuff. But um, you know, in a position like this, I think bishop e7 is fine because tempo doesn't really matter that much here, right? Because the slow development, things are very static. It's all about improving your pieces to the best possible squares and slowly making progress. So it's not one of those situations where it's kind of like a dynamic position or anything like that, where you must strike, before your opponent does. So from that perspective, I don't think bishop e7 is that bad
Mm-hmm.
or even a problem. I think maybe, putting it on a more safe square where it's more in the black side, I think maybe not a bad idea because knight a4 could be a threat at any point. So we're
Mm-hmm.
basically preemptively kind of moving that bishop away from that idea. So I think it's an
Okay.
okay move. It's not bad.
It's fine, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I also don't see like a lot of problem in this. Okay. White played knight d4. So now what will be your choice as black? Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I would play. I guess you could play Rook d8. I'm just looking to see if white gets anything from playing like bishop e6 or something, but why would white ever do that? Why would white give up a bishop
Okay.
for
So
three pawns like that?
basically the point is can black castle or it's not possible to castle?
Um, no, right? Because knight e6 is coming, and I'm winning the knight on d7 after the end, right?
Yeah, knight e6 is the problem, yeah. So basically, if you castle, actually, this kind of situation happens, and okay, you are just down a pawn, yeah, basically, at least.
Yep. Yep.
So this is an important thing to remember, that in even in such simple cases, tactics still is available. I mean, even though the queens are exchanged, it's like a symmetrical endgame. Still, there are possibilities of tactics.
This
So should
tactical bishop e6 came to my mind. That's why I told you that bishop on c5 was good, because of this whole idea of e3 sacrifice. This is a very common thing, right?
yes, yeah, it's common actually. I mean, it's not very common in this opening, but there are many openings which promote this idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Even in
Okay.
like the Caro-Kann, you see this kind of thing all the time, right? Whenever you have to play like, I forgot which
Yeah.
opening it was. I feel like it was Caro-Kann or Slav or whatever. This kind of thing happens quite a bit.
In Caro-Kann, it can happen in many lines actually, especially especially the lines with the Panov Botvinnik attack. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
so in that it happens quite often, and I mean there is always a possibility at least.
Yeah, any
And
kind of king Slav structure, really, this is possible.
yeah, Slav also it's possible. I mean, it's very common as well. So that's why Black played Rook C8. Okay, F3,
That's a good move. I
D5.
like that f3 because it takes away that all those important squares from the knight and the bishop.
Yes, so you should understand this thing as well, that even though it's a completely equal position, it's still not a draw. Yeah, I mean there are
Right.
still many pieces playing. So you
Yes.
should play in this position to make small improvements in your
Yep.
position without giving any possibility to exchange or equalize, or get rid of your pressure. I mean, F3 is not doing anything and it is not threatening anything, but it's like a situation that, okay, Black has placed everything perfectly, but what next? He has to do something, right?
Mhm.
And he's not able to do it. Okay, so Black played B5, Bishop E2, and Bishop C5. So I think it's clear from this that Black kind of wasted few moves in the beginning, because if
Mhm.
this was the case, I mean, if this is the setup which Black wanted to get, probably he should have started with B5, yeah, in the beginning.
He repeated those moves, right? He played
Yeah,
b5, played bishop
he
e7,
just
back to c5.
exactly, because I just see this position, yeah, and I'm thinking if B5 would have been played and would have played this, pretty much there is a good possibility he would have ended up in this position. I mean, the same position.
Yep. It's
So
tempi
he
ahead.
just
Yep.
wasted few tempo, you can say. But okay, Bishop C5 and King F1. So very nice move actually, King F1.
Yep.
Okay, so you're bringing the king closer to the center,
Winning
and
many
you are
tactics from
always,
this diagonal.
yeah, you are going away from the diagonal, and you are always okay playing Bishop D4, Rook D4, yeah, because then you have a double bishop advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Black plays King E7 and E4. Okay, again, the situation is like this. Position is equal, but Black still has to do something, right, in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now Black played a move, G5.
Wow.
Okay, so this I think is already like a situation where the style of players is under question. Okay.
As in, like, Bobby Fischer is like a very aggressive style, so that he's
Yes.
attacking. But even
Yes.
I would play that move in this position, I think.
G5, you would?
Yeah, because king is safe, and you have to break open this pawn chain. What better way to do
Mhm.
that than to do this minority attack with this G5, H5, H4, H3 type of thing, right? Rook G8.
Okay. Okay, but why you would not play Rook D8, for example? I mean, this makes more sense, I would say.
Why would I play that move?
I mean, why you will not play Rook H to D8?
Okay, well,
Because
so I guess if I'm trying to draw this game,
Mhm.
I might consider a move like that, but Fischer is clearly better than Spassky, and he's gonna definitely try to win for the. If you're going for the win, if I'm playing a lower rated player, I would absolutely play Rook G8, G5, G4 here, even though I'm not an
Okay.
attacking player at all. But I would still do that because I have nothing to worry about here in this position to play that, right?
Okay. That's a good decision because I was not considering G5, G4, in this position. To me, this seems still a bit how would I say?
I would
Bit
start with
premature.
Rook G8 though. Personally, I would just feel scared on the diagonal, so I would start that way. But I feel like this
But
idea you would definitely see this. This is the same idea that you do in the English, right? Same kind of deal.
you mean with Rook B1 and B4, B5?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, the idea is pretty common. Just like for me, when I look at this position, it feels a bit strange because you played the Queen's Gambit accepted, yeah, which kind of, clarifies your intention that you are okay with a draw to start with. But then midway in the game, you change to G5, G4, which seems a bit strange to me. But here's the thing, like what this is what I feel. This is Fischer. I mean, let's just say if there was a player, for example, like Grishchuk, or maybe even Vishy Anand in this position, I think they will go Rook HD8 here, not G5, G4.
Hmm.
But there
Interesting.
is no, I mean, G5 is not a bad move. So we will go ahead with it. Okay. So knight B1.
So okay, so you said you wouldn't play this G5 move, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you basically saying that Black is expected to play more of a calm manner because of the choice of his opening? Or are
Yes.
you saying that G5 here is just a very rash decision?
Uh, I, I cannot say G5 is a very rash decision because I don't see anything bad instantly coming out of it. But yeah, definitely the opening choice which Black made from the beginning kind of clarifies his intention. So I just don't see the point of G5 here. I mean, okay, let's just check with the engine, yeah. So G5 doesn't change anything in the evaluation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's not a bad move. I mean, I don't even think I can call it a weakening move. But definitely it's a bit of a strange decision to play G5. On the other hand, you actually can make a move like Rook D8, and the position is just 0.00.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about last time about sunken cost fallacy. I think you're familiar with that concept, right?
Yes, yes.
So chess players, just like business people, companies experience this all the time. They commit to an idea, halfway through they realize this idea is not working, but they don't want to give up on it because they've already put so much into it. So don't you think that a really strong player like Fischer and these guys, they would be aware of that kind of bias, right? And they would say, you know what? I committed to an idea. It doesn't make sense. I put the rook on d1. It doesn't really belong there. Let me bring it back to f1 again. So from that perspective, how you mentioned that, hey, this guy's playing for a draw because of choice of openings. Don't you think that he would just suddenly change his mind simply because the fact that he doesn't care what the thing is. He just plays the position and that's evolving in that present moment. Based on that, his
Quite possible.
intentions will evolve as well.
No, it's quite possible, actually. I mean, that's why I mentioned that it's Fisher, yeah? So it's expected.
Right.
It's kind of expected. And actually, it's more visible right now. I mean, the next moves here, if you will see. So G5, knight B1. G4, bishop A3. So I think in this position, if even after G5, G4, yeah, if black actually wants to equalize this position, just bishop takes A3 should be fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just see here this position, bishop A3. This should be okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a bad move, it's just exchanging few pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and black is not losing anything. So, not a bad decision, yeah. But here already I can see that black's intent is to win the game now.
Yes, black is definitely trying to win this game. Exactly. I was just gonna tell you. Yeah.
He's pushing, he's not admitting that he wants to just settle down, yeah, in this position.
Right. Because if he was trying to draw, he would have definitely played Rook D8 right away.
Yeah, I mean,
These simple exchanges, he would go for them unless as long as it doesn't make his position worse.
exactly. And I don't think that there is anything from white which can actually make his position worse, yeah. Like white's play is also pretty non-ambitious till now, you can say.
Yeah.
I mean, white hasn't tried to play a4. White hasn't tried to make any pawn advancement on the king side. White is not doing anything, yeah, so far. He's just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think already it's clear that black wants to win this game. Okay, so black played b4. And now Spassky responded with rook c5.
Whoa.
Okay, so this is something which I have noticed also happens sometimes in your games, that your opponents, they give you a lot of chance, like they basically provoke you. So if we are able to take such decisions, yeah, and just encash on the opportunity that we had such a possibility, I think many results we can change by this.
Mm.
Okay, I just want to show the rest of the game. I mean, the way white played this, yeah. So knight a3, knight c4, king f2, h4. Okay, so I mean, it's like white just sacrificed an exchange, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in return, he has got pretty much nothing, like, okay, one pawn. But all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, it looks like now white is having the initiative. Yeah, black is a bit uncomfortable in the situation. So, where do you think this changed? Like, why all of a sudden the dynamics of the game changed
Can you go back to the position before the sacrifice? Right before?
before Rook C5? Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hmm.
Go back one more move.
Yep.
Okay. So from this position, black would have had to calculate this sacrifice idea. And me
Hmm.
as black, I would never even consider that possibility. It wouldn't even be in my horizon of thoughts that, hey, maybe that sacrifice could happen. He could just take my bishop. Even as white, I would not consider this at all. So play the next move. I'm just trying to think like in this position, would I consider such a move?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like
I feel
show
like
you. That,
maybe it'll come into my mind for a split second, but I would dismiss it almost immediately, thinking that, okay, Rook C5, I'm getting rid of a decently strong bishop that's got a good diagonal. I'm pinning the knight. And I'm like, oh crap, but then it's really a pawn though. I'm giving up a pawn. I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? But if you think about this position, right? At this
Mhm,
point, if we just take each of these pieces' strengths, look how good that bishop is. The
mhm,
entire diagonal, it's cutting through like a dagger, right? You're
mhm,
getting the b4 pawn, which makes, a6 kind of a weakness to some extent later on. So already you got a really good bishop, you got a pawn. You're tying up a knight, right? Because that knight cannot go anywhere, and that knight has to be protected for the next at least couple of moves. And your king is
mhm,
stuck behind it as well. So you're getting at least, almost even advantage, at least the same amount, equivalent advantage, simply because of You got a great bishop that's maybe even as much as a rook. That bishop and pawn together might even be as much as a rook. Plus, you're getting lots of coordination. You're causing a lot of coordination issues in black's position. So if you think about that sacrifice from that point, I don't think it's that crazy to justify why he might have done that. But would a human like me, I mean, normal person like me would ever like boldly play that, knowing that, hey, I'm definitely gonna be able to convert from those dynamic advantages? I don't know. I don't know if I would be bold enough to go for it still.
Okay. Actually, to be very honest, it will be also very difficult for me to even. I mean, I would definitely consider it, but to play Rook C5 might be a bit tricky in this situation for me
Mm-hmm.
because there is nothing instant that is happening, yeah, after Rook C5.
Right. Right.
So that's what I was just saying that I mean, even after giving up an exchange, White is playing so calmly as if nothing has happened, yeah, in the position.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not very clear how Black should handle the position. Because, see, now it's already +2 almost.
Okay, what was the evaluation before that sacrifice, and what does the computer think of the sacrifice?
Computer actually agrees with the sacrifice here.
Okay, can you
Computer says
yeah,
that,
can you move forward slowly?
yeah.
I just want to see what the computer like why does it so confident about this?
Mhm.
Then
It's like,
it's just piece coordination. That sacrifice coordinates white's pieces beautifully while totally immobilizes all of black's pieces. None of
mhm.
his pieces can move right now. To some like that knight on d7 is kind of stuck, right? Because
Yes.
if he moves that knight, white, what is white's trick here?
I think some knight A5 stuff will come, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like, black is just like kind of like immobilized.
Yeah. One sacrifice and Black is not able to like do anything here.
Right. But thought process behind this has to come from those elements, right? That, hey, I'm getting rid of this really good bishop that's putting a dagger down my throat. I'm gonna get at least a pawn out of it. A6 will become some type of a weakness to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
The two knights will be significantly restricted. The king will be stuck behind it, and I will have the bishop pair. It has to be that he considered all those factors before he went for this, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
I think Spassky actually took this chance because he realized that the position is technically better for him. And with two bishops and like slightly immobilized Black's pieces here as of now, it just looks like White can do some major improvement in the position and Black can still do nothing. Yeah.
Mm,
And that's what happened actually. You can see White is still playing very slowly, yeah, even after he's like down an exchange. He's just playing slowly, and this knight is already not the key point of the game. The problems are now these hanging pawns.
mm.
So eventually he just pushed back Black completely. And okay, this tactics also came. So 95, 95, check. Have to give up, check. So now the point was if you take, he's getting Rook C3. So first bishop D3, Rook C3 and bishop B4. And now Black has to give up the material. So when everything ended, White is up a pawn.
Mm.
And now you can see, now this extra pawn is very dangerous for Black because Black's king is bad, Rook is passive, Bishop is not doing anything, and pawns are very weak. All the pawns.
Yep. Well, it's also like white's pieces are kind of starting to be concentrated around the king, so there's like kind of like small checkmate type of threats coming too, right?
Yeah.
Not unless I mean like not checkmate, but like white has attacking chances on the king. Black doesn't have anything on the white king.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's like it's kind of a situation where again, because of the fact that there is an opposite color bishop situation, the side who is attacking generally is better, yeah. And here, of course, white is attacking.
In an opposite colored bishop situation, the side who's attacking is better
Yes, in opposite color bishop situations,
because the
the
other bishop
side,
can't help to defend. Is that why?
yeah, because you are down a piece, yeah.
Yeah, basically, I guess that's true. I feel like I heard that principle, but I just forgot about that. Makes sense though.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just like you're down a piece. So, and okay, now the position is just lost. Yeah, you're just too many pawns down,
Mm-hmm.
and you are already losing. So this is the point of opposite color bishop. Yeah, you never have to worry about something like this.
Yep.
You really never have to worry about something. So bishop f3, h5, and okay, besides. I think the point is you have to,
What happens if you take that pawn?
if you take b7, yeah, and you cannot
Oh,
stop
that's yeah, clean.
so probably you have to go somewhere like this, and then I think he's gonna give a check and b7 is coming.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, in these type of games, wouldn't you say that White actually didn't do anything that I mean, I would probably say that didn't do anything brilliant, but just he got the chance and took it.
Okay, so how many times does a player do a sacrifice like Rook C5 end up losing though? Like I'm not
Um,
Spassky, right? Like a normal person like me playing Rook C5. Do you think this is a level of confidence and understanding in chess that I need to develop? Or is this like trying to be overly audacious and trying to play like Michael Jordan when you're not Michael Jordan, you know? Is it one of those
mhm.
scenarios?
Obviously, I think for, for I mean for me, I think the players who will actually end up losing after playing Rook C5 are also the players who will probably never play Rook C5 here.
Hmm.
Because I have seen that players who are not extremely confident about such moves, yeah, they always choose to take the safer option out. Like, for example, if in this position, let's just say bishop b2 was not a possibility for you, okay, hypothetically, then I'm pretty sure you would have gone for Rook C5.
Everybody would have played Rook C5. Definitely.
Then you would go for Rook C5, like you will say. But if you have a move like bishop b2 and nothing really changes, yeah, white is still fine in this situation,
Mhm.
then maybe you would also opt for the safer way out with bishop e2. But okay, to answer your question, I think still there is a good chance that maybe 50% of the players would actually mess up this position after playing rook c5.
So the specific advice for me would be that I should try to play moves like this Rook C5
Yes, of course,
and try
because
them.
sometimes stronger players they take a chance like this, they provoke you to play this because they know if you play this move, then they might be worse. But there is a high chance that you will not play this move, and then they will be slightly better. For example, yeah,
Right.
let's just take this kind of position. So now imagine yourself playing against, let's just say, 2400. So you're playing against 2400. So he knows that if he takes bishop a3, the game is 0.00. Yeah, there is nothing special here. So he doesn't want that. He will play b4 because he knows that if you play bishop b2, now at least he has something to play for you. It's still 0.5, so there is something for black to play. At least he can convince himself that he got some extra tempo, yeah, on the king side.
I'm starting to realize where my lack of understanding of this stuff is, that I have a major lack in understanding dynamic chess.
Yes,
Because
because
I would
of,
evaluate this position so materialistically, right? And just play, okay,
yeah.
definitely I need to remove my bishop, it's attacked. Rook C5
Mm-hmm.
loses exchange, therefore why would I ever play that?
Exactly. That's the point, and that's also, Rafi, not just because of your, like, it's not like your fault or something. It's mainly because of the fact that we have never gotten into dynamic positions yet.
Hmm.
Like, just look at your opening choices, for example, and the lines that we have been preparing or you knew before you and I started working. How many positions you got which are pretty sharp, let's just say?
Rare, it's rare.
Rarely, because you prefer to play this kind of positions in a more technical manner, yeah?
Because
Without,
almost every chance I have to take to lead the game towards sharper positions versus
Mhm,
calmer waters, even if I'm worse, I lead the calmer waters.
mhm.
Always, almost always. That's how I've been
So
playing
that,
chess for the last like 5, 6 years.
yes, that's what I wanted to change, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted us to go for this kind of, like, Catalan mix kind of positions as well from white, and that's why I gave you the Samish as well, yeah, where you can get some complicated position, right?
Mm,
Because I mean, okay, with black, I would say it's still okay, but if we are playing also very safe from white, then it's not like we are actually letting go of anything, but we are always, getting weaker and weaker in the dynamic part.
right.
So I think that's like a big, so basically, I mean, I just wanted to show you. Yeah. So for example, yeah, if you can see this position, I mean, if you look at this kind of position, you can see that white by choice or black also by choice, they're actually going for the dynamic positions, right? So for example, in this situation, yeah, there is always an option to play bishop f6, queen f6, and e3, for example. And there is no way the position can be dynamic after this. I mean, there are some chances, but okay, mostly the position will be slight plus, positional maneuvering, and stuff like that. But then
Yeah.
you have a choice of going into positions like this. So playing bishop h4 and allowing all this stuff and going for this kind of positions. Yeah. So here things are much better because here there is a good chance that somebody will make a mistake. There is always something to calculate and stuff like that. So okay, game goes on and it can be to result.
So
So
do you think
this is,
that the style should change, playing up versus down? Like playing up, I take more of these kind of chances, playing down, I take less of these chances, or no?
yeah, that's what I mean. And I mean, I just think that, well, actually, I don't even think do we have a choice in this because your choice of openings is very safe. Yeah. So you don't even get a chance to go into these positions.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you don't play such positions for a long time, there is a good chance that you will be missing this kind of Rook C5 stuff as well.
Hmm.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So in the second game, I have a different task for you basically.
Okay.
So if you, I mean, you have to go through the game. I mean, not the full game, but at least like till, let's say, move 25, 30, something like this. And just try to figure out. So since black has lost the game, just try to figure out what were the mistakes for black.
Okay.
Okay, so you can play the moves, and that's it. Like just try to. I mean, whatever you feel like.
Okay. Can you give me a remote control?
I think you have it.
Oh, like play on my board. Okay, hold on.
Okay. So I should give you from here.
Yeah, you can do it from here too.
Okay.
There's a
Could
thing
you?
at the bottom that should say like remote.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You said look at it from Black's point of view, right?
Yes. Just to figure out the mistakes. So far, it's all theory.
Mm-hmm. This is all theory, but you can kind of already sense the future upcoming problems in Black's position. I mean, I know I can, that this rook on
Mhm.
a8 is going to have some trouble trying to find a good square. The two bishops on these diagonals are going to become extremely annoying. And in the future, a c4 is going to hit and destroy this pawn center. So those things would be already playing in my head, like in this moment.
Actually, I mean, okay, if we look at it from a very theoretical aspect, I can tell you that bishop d6 is the right theoretical move here. But I mean, I'm not so much into theory, so h6 is still fine, let's just say.
Hmm. Oh. So you want me to go through and just basically point out to you which points black made the mistakes?
Yes, like according to you at least, which
Okay.
points did this take? You can see his position like kept on deteriorating gradually. Right? It was not like an instant loss for him.
Okay. So I would say that I guess all this is fine.
This all is theory, so it's opening.
Okay. So here,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know this theory, but I know from general chess principles
Mm-hmm.
that in a position when white has such a nice bishop, white bishop, right? I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
how I feel about taking on these kind of doubled pawns here, totally messed up pawn structure, knowing that something is definitely going to land on f5 one day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would at least, I don't know if I would think like that, but I would at least have some inkling in, like, I would not allow this f6 trade personally. Because under the circumstance of how this is, this white bishop is just really strong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
white has such a strong grip of f5, basically, right? Like, something is gonna get there and there's no way black can get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the first, I guess, like, red flag I would notice. So I would say this moment, maybe black's first kind of mistake-ish.
Okay, but what you would have played if you would have not gone for this? Like you wanted to come back bishop e7?
Yeah, I would have came
Okay.
back. But
Mm-hmm. Okay.
even if I come back, I like it, then comes the other issues I was telling you about. Like, I feel like white is very well positioned to play a very quick knight e2 and c4 here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then this center is something I have to worry about. Like, where is the center gonna go? My rook on a8 doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
have that many good squares. Maybe the center is, I don't know. Maybe a bishop e6 protects everything nicely. I don't know, but I would
Mm-hmm.
still feel a little uneasy about the rook. Although maybe rook c8 is probably just fine, but you can see that bishop a6 and all these kind of threats are just all over the place, right? Black is kind of awkward here because of the rook on a8. The two bishops are coordinating really well against that rook, I think.
Okay.
Why black's gonna have some coordination type of issues from this opening. And the center is very shaky, right? Because c4 just is not really easy to respond to.
Yeah, actually, I mean, as far as I remember, for bishop e7, white usually plays rook e1, and then this comes pretty quick.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and with the idea of c4, by the way, the thing you are mentioning, I think one of the main ways for white to play in this line is also knight a4 with the idea of c4.
Mm,
So that's like another way to play this position as white here. So okay, this is the number one concern. Okay, after that, what else? I mean, apart from not allowing the double pawn, anything else?
yeah. Okay. So I don't think I would have played bishop d7. I think oh, he didn't even get a chance. I was gonna chop the knight on c3 and play bishop g5 or g4, h5, and g6, but I just
Mm-hmm.
realized that that knight just hopped away. Um, I don't know. I feel like if black can't get his bishop to g6, this position he's gonna suffer for sure with this f5 problem. So I don't know. So that takes me back to that previous issue, but let's just continue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here, wait a second. No matter how you look at it, it's just so hard to guard f5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in this moment, maybe in these last couple of moves, perhaps black should have tried. I don't know, maybe like rook e8, rook e5 even,
Mhm.
something to try to stop this f5 square, take this, control this f5 square. So possibly this may be an inaccuracy. Although it's hard to say, like bishop d7 is an inaccuracy. That's such a normal looking move.
Mhm. Okay. So
Hold
let's
on, let me
say.
think about this position for a second. 1 second.
Mhm.
I don't think black would have had any problems had this pawn been on c5 and the bishop been on d6, by the way.
Okay.
All of black's problems would have been mostly, for the most part, like resolved, I think. Because this knight has such easy access to f5 via d4 and this kind of stuff, and the bishop is awkwardly placed on b4,
Mhm.
right? Pawn can't get to c5 easily. These are the reasons why I think black is having these kind of coordination issues.
Okay.
So maybe I would have, knowing this idea is coming, maybe I should have considered rook e8, rook e5 instead of playing
Okay.
bishop d7.
But that's not possible, yeah, because if I play knight d4, you cannot play rook e5 still because c6 is hanging.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, then maybe I don't know. It's really true that it's kind of hard to stop this f5. How else would he do it? I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like ever since this queen f6 happened, it's just been,
After that, you don't like the position, yeah?
after that, it's just no way to really stop something from coming to f5 is basically the problem, right? Like there's not
Uh,
enough tempi in black's position to bring this guy back, push this guy here, take this, put it here. Like this is a permanent weakness, basically.
yeah. Okay, so this is what I wanted to actually tell you. Oh wow, I don't know why it's working, yeah. Okay, so you can see, yeah, like the top move in this position is bishop d6, as I was just telling you. And the next move is bishop e7, yeah? You should just come back.
Right.
So this basically tells us that if you know how to play the position after these pawns get doubled, then you can play bishop d6. However, if you don't know and you don't feel comfortable, then actually you should just play bishop e7.
Yep.
And there is a reason. So you can see in this position, bishop d6 is 0.1, bishop e7 is 0.1, h6 is also 0.1. Yeah, like almost every move is the same. But it's always the matter of comfort here, especially when you are going into something more permanent.
Right.
Because you actually know, yeah, that after this situation, it's not so easy for black to stop this. So black has to know exactly what to do so that this becomes not a problem for him.
Yep.
So here actually, I mean, why I'm showing you this one, yeah, this is mainly because that our opening preparations can go up to a certain point, but after that, it's the ease of the position, yeah, the comfort of playing the position. So here I think I mean, it's a bit more comfortable to play as white than with black. Also, rook f e8 actually is not a very good move, according to me. I would have played something like rook f d8, because I know that if knight f5 comes, here I can take, and maybe this position is drawable, yeah, because of the opposite color bishops.
Right.
But if I get this position, this is bad, because now it's like a bad pawn structure. f5 knight is pretty strong. This bishop is pretty useless.
Yeah.
So here it's like an endgame imbalance, yeah, that we are discussing. And
Yeah,
that's
I
the
don't think black should have traded that bishop at all.
exactly. Black should have played bishop e8.
Exactly, yes. I would have never
Even,
traded on f5.
exactly. Even the bishop e8 looks pretty weird here. I mean, you don't usually go back on an open file, yeah, which is for the rook. But this position actually demands us to play rook bishop e8.
Yes, 100% I agree. Because after the trade, just like you said, you're forever left with this unstoppable knight posted on f5, hitting all of your weak squares, and this bishop like literally is useless. You're trading
Yes,
down to an imbalance that's just clearly worse versus playing a passive move. I would
yes.
pick the passive move and maintain the future dynamic possibilities.
Exactly. I mean, if you are willing to defend the position, then at least you should not have something permanently damaged.
Yeah,
Because with permanent damages, computers can defend, yeah, because they calculate everything.
right.
But for us, it's a bit difficult because you can see, yeah, I mean, this is the reason I showed you. So you can see there are two games from this position, yeah. One game you can see white is, I mean, both are grandmasters, but the player who's playing from black is like a strong grandmaster, yeah. Still
Mm-hmm.
couldn't defend.
Mm-hmm.
And here you can see my opposition is a bit weaker, also couldn't defend, yeah, in this position.
Mm-hmm.
So here actually the point is of the mistake is not move related, it was a decision making error. So here the main idea should be not to exchange the bishops.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much play any move in the position. Like I'm pretty sure if I play a move like let's say rook b8, my position is still fine. But I have to know that the moment I play this, bishop e8 has to be played.
Such a horrible move to have to play. Look at the rook on f8 and everything. But I
Exactly. I mean,
guess,
but you have to choose this, yeah. I mean, if you have to do something, you have to choose this. So that's why I said if
yeah,
I was back here, I would probably play rook f d8, because I know
right.
that my bishop e8 has to be played.
Yep, yep, yep.
And now my rook is free at least, yeah. So now I can think of pulling back the bishop, playing c5, and start slowly pushing
Right.
white
Get that
backward.
knight out of there. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because after this, when this happened, yeah. So b3 and let's say this and king f1, like you can suddenly see, yeah, that the position from 0.3 almost becomes +1, although black's move doesn't seem like a mistake, yeah.
Yep. Which
I mean,
means
he's
that
got
because black has, like you said, the permanent weakness,
permanent weakness,
black has
yes.
to find the absolute most accurate moves to hold it all together.
and
And
and not
it's very
one move,
difficult for us to do, right?
yeah, and not just once, yeah. Black has to do that almost like for a series of moves,
Yeah.
which is more difficult, in these situations.
Mhm.
And eventually you can see that black lost track of the game, maybe because as I said, yeah, white's like playing with white is very easy here.
Very easy, right?
Because in this situation, like when somebody is passive or somebody is having a bad position, they usually try to trade off pieces and like neutralize the game. Yeah, it's like a common defensive method.
Yeah. You can't do
In
that
this,
here.
he can't do that because
Mhm.
even if he trades, like for example, what he can trade rook for a rook. Yeah, then also the ending is lost for him.
Yeah, that's even worse, I think, with the rooks off.
Yeah, it's with the rooks off, it's horrible. Let's say the bishop versus the knights get traded, yeah.
Hmm.
Still, white will be the one who will be playing for a win like
Yeah,
this.
definitely, definitely.
And if all the pieces are also exchanged, I'm pretty sure this pawn endgame will be winning for white, yeah.
Hmm.
Because he's just gonna play king d3 and c4, and black cannot take, black cannot defend. It's not easy defending this position. And already you can see here, I mean, black went. So when you see that these kind of passive defenses don't work, you tend to play actively. But as I always say, in these kind of positions, the tactics usually favors the stronger side.
Yeah.
And okay, now, so I mean, obviously here there was like something better, you can say, like knight e3 was the suggestion. So you can see the computer is suggesting not to take the extra pawn, but just keep on playing against these weaknesses. Yeah.
Mm,
So basically, he's saying that now you just bring your king to c4 after that. So
mm.
basically, black has nothing here in this position. Okay, afterwards, it's not so important. So here, I also wanted to say that, I mean, two things. I mean, I had two major things to mention. So first is when we pick classical games, this is the reason why I said we need to choose a player. We need to choose a player so that we adapt to his style, yeah? Because as you can see, players have pretty different styles. Like
Yeah.
Fischer, Spassky, completely opposite players, yeah, you can say. So if we can choose a player, it is going to be much easier for us to analyze and to go forward with it. For example, if you are trying to go for more like dynamic learning, then we can select players from these kind of, like Shirov and all who are pretty dynamic in nature, yeah, or Mamedaro, for example, even Richard Rapport, for example. They play pretty uncompromising chess, yeah. Or if we are going for something more like, I mean, if the aim is to learn more and more positional techniques and stuff, we can always see Spassky, Karpov, Jan Timman, for example, many players as well.
Maybe even Yasser Seirawan. I think his playing style is kind of used to be.
Everyone, yes, I mean, he's very, very solid, yes, strategically.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very principled. So yeah, I mean, we can pick any player actually, Rafi. Anybody will be good for you. So
The top player is definitely Karpov. His playing style is like
yeah, of course.
every move he makes, I can understand and relate to it to some extent.
Yeah, Karpov. Karpov, of course. But
It's
that
such
being
a
said,
perfect example of like slowly restricting everything from your opponent, slowly, slowly, slowly.
yeah.
The constrictor
But
type of method.
that being said, Karpov was like intuitively he was a very strong attacker and calculation. I mean, calculation wise, he was also very perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even when he was making these slow moves, he was not letting go of many things as well. Like you can't find a lot of weaknesses,
If I
or
look
you
at
can.
exactly what I was gonna say is if I look at the games of Karpov and Kasparov, and you
Yeah.
ask me, hey, go ahead and guess their next moves, I'm telling you, I would have a very difficult time guessing Kasparov's next moves versus Karpov's. Like
Yeah. So
Kasparov's playing style is so different from mine. Just the way he plays chess. Think about like the moves. It just doesn't even make sense to me. Or like I don't know, like Tal. I wouldn't have a clue how he thinks and how he plays. But people like Karpov,
Petrosian.
oh yeah, any of these kind of positional guys, I feel like I can understand how they. Maybe I won't guess all their moves exactly, but I can understand their ideas and relate to the ideas. Like
Definitely.
there's so many examples I've seen. Karpov's idea of putting a bishop to block a file, then doubling rooks behind it. That famous idea, right? I feel like I could relate to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Dahl's, you know, meaningless knight sacrifice that's gonna somehow play it, produce results 10 moves later. I just can't even think like that in chess.
Yeah, that is all intuitive sacrifices. I mean, Tal's a lot of sacrifices were not exactly calculation based as well. So lot of the
They were a
times there.
lot of psychology based and pressure based.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the times they were based on the fact that the most obvious defensive move doesn't work. And that's what the opponent will usually play. And that's where Tal used to catch their opponent. But okay, I mean, also Tal, I don't think has a lot of sacrifices. I mean, the games which are printed and published, yeah, those games of course are with full of sacrifices, but I think that many sacrifices you will find with any world champion, if you take their career as well.
Mhm.
So but okay, I would still say that Tal's playing style, I mean, it's not even just dynamic, yeah, it's completely crazy.
Right.
Like there's a difference. Yeah. So So I would say that's why we probably need to pick somebody. I mean, we can pick more than a couple of players as well. And yeah, we can just go through some of the classical games to improve. And just like this, yeah. So this was the first thing. And the second thing was the comfort of the position, yeah, which I said. Because right now the game has changed a bit and people usually are believing on the engine analysis, yeah. So here is the thing. This position has the same evaluation as this position with bishop e7, yeah, let's say. So basically you have to choose that, are you okay in allowing this double pawns or not? That's the main thing. So these are the two things I want us to like figure out, but okay, we can do that in the next time. And yeah, I think this method should be good for us, yeah, to proceed with.
Yeah, definitely. This is
Yeah.
helping like my, I don't know, I feel like I cannot necessarily pinpoint exactly what I got of it, but I definitely feel like I've gotten new awarenesses
Yes.
to consider as I think
And
about positions.
yeah, and just one more thing is that uh there might be some things which you have to take care on your own, like basically this puzzle solvings and that stuff. But
Mhm.
you should probably do that, like in a goal-oriented manner. Yeah, that every day I will be solving like 5 puzzles and just track my puzzle rating. Am I going
Okay.
up or down? So something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, and not to probably waste too much time on just solving calculation exercises.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
Because really, if you get a position like this, for example, uh, in your game, and this is a theoretical position as well, as you can see. So there is a good chance somebody will recommend you this position and you will check it with the engine, which says equal, but now you don't know what to do. Yeah. Any move you play, you are feeling not good. So there is no point. Like, how is calculation going to help us from here? You have to understand, like you have to mix these positional concepts as well. Okay.
Mhm. Yep, makes sense.
Okay. Perfect, Rafi. I think then for today we will finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you then.
Sounds good, man. Yep.
We'll we'll catch you tomorrow. I'm free over the weekend, so yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
you.
Just whenever you're free, message me and I'll do the same.
Yes, we'll do. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Rafi. Yeah. I wish you good luck for the new sessions as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do let me know how it goes.
Okay. Yep, I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.